Picture this. You're at a coffee shop, and there's this woman who comes in every Tuesday at exactly 2:15 p.m. She orders the same drink, sits at the same table, and every single time you're there, something interesting happens. She drops her pen right next to your table. She asks you about the book you're reading. She comments on the weather. Last week, she even asked if you knew anything about the Wi-Fi password, even though there's a giant sign with the password right behind her head. Now, here's the million-dollar question. Is she just being friendly, or is there something more going on here? If you're like most men, you've probably convinced yourself she's just being polite. After all, women are naturally more social, right? They're just friendly people. But what if I told you that you're missing 3 critical signals that she's been broadcasting louder than a stadium announcer, and you've been completely blind to them? What if I told you that there's a woman in your life right now? Maybe it's your coworker, maybe it's that girl from your gym, maybe it's someone you see regularly but haven't made a move on, who has been practically screaming that she's interested in you, but you've been interpreting her signals as mere politeness. Here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to admit. Most men go through their entire lives missing obvious romantic opportunities because they don't understand the language women actually use to express interest. And I'm not talking about some pickup artist nonsense or manipulative tactics. I'm talking about genuine, scientifically backed behavioral patterns that women exhibit when they're genuinely attracted to someone. You see, women don't communicate interest the same way men do. When a man likes a woman, he might ask her out directly, compliment her appearance, or make his intentions pretty clear. But women? Women operate in a completely different communication system. It's not because they're playing games or trying to be difficult. It's because they're wired differently, both biologically and socially. Think about it from an evolutionary perspective for just a moment. Throughout human history, women have had to be more selective about their romantic choices because the consequences of those choices were literally life-altering. They couldn't just walk up to any random guy and express interest without considering safety, social standing, and long-term compatibility. So they developed a sophisticated system of signaling that allows them to express interest while maintaining plausible deniability and social protection. This system still exists today, even though the stakes might not be as high. And if you don't understand this system, you're going to miss every single signal that comes your way. But here's where it gets really interesting. I've spent the last 5 years studying human attraction, relationship psychology, and behavioral patterns. I've interviewed hundreds of women, consulted with relationship experts, and analyzed thousands of real-life scenarios. And what I discovered will probably shock you. There are exactly 3 signals that every woman gives when she's genuinely interested in a man. Not 4, not 2, 3. And these signals are so consistent, so universal, that once you know what to look for, you'll start seeing them everywhere. You'll look back at situations from your past, and suddenly everything will make perfect sense. Remember that girl from college who always sat next to you in the library? She was giving you signal number 2. Remember your coworker who always brings you coffee but doesn't do the same for anyone else? That's signal number 1 in action. Remember that woman at the party who kept finding reasons to talk to you throughout the night? Signal number 3, clear as day. But here's the thing that makes this even more crucial. These signals have an expiration date. Women don't keep sending them indefinitely. If you don't recognize and respond to these signals within a reasonable time frame, she'll assume you're not interested and move on. And then you'll be left wondering what could have been. I learned this the hard way. There was this woman in my graduate program, Sarah, who I thought was just being friendly. She would save seats for me in lectures, always pair up with me for group projects, and somehow we'd end up walking to the parking garage together after every class. She even invited me to study sessions at her apartment. just the two of us. For months, this went on. One day, I found out she had started dating someone else. I was devastated, but also confused. I thought, how did this happen? We had such a connection. It wasn't until years later, when I started really studying attraction and relationships, that I realized she had been giving me all three signals the entire time. She was practically throwing herself at me, and I was too oblivious to see it. That's when I made a decision. I was never going to let this happen again. Not to me, and not to any other guy who might be in the same situation. I dove deep into research, talked to countless women about how they actually express interest, and developed a clear, foolproof system for recognizing when a woman is genuinely attracted to you. And that's exactly what I'm going to share with you today. These three signals are so reliable, so consistent, that when you see them, you can be absolutely confident that she's interested. No more guessing, no more wondering, no more missed opportunities. But before we get into the specific signals, I need you to understand something important. These signals aren't just random behaviors. They're rooted in deep psychological and biological drives that women often aren't even consciously aware of. When a woman is attracted to you, her brain literally changes how she behaves around you. Her body language shifts, her priorities rearrange themselves, and her actions start revolving around creating opportunities to connect with you. The fascinating part is that these changes happen automatically. She's not sitting there thinking, okay, now I'm going to give him signal number one. It's happening at a subconscious level, driven by attraction, interest, and the desire to build a connection. This is why these signals are so reliable. She's not performing them on purpose, so she's not going to suddenly stop giving them if she's genuinely interested. They're authentic expressions of her internal state. Now, I also want to address something before we dive in. Some of you might be thinking, this sounds like it's about manipulating women or treating them like they're puzzles to be solved. That's absolutely not what this is about. Understanding these signals isn't about manipulation. It's about communication. It's about recognizing when someone is trying to communicate with you in their natural language. Think of it like learning to speak a foreign language. If someone is speaking to you in Spanish, but you only understand English, you're going to miss everything they're trying to tell you. That doesn't make them wrong for speaking Spanish, and it doesn't make you wrong for not understanding. But if you want to communicate effectively, someone needs to bridge that gap. That's what we're doing here. We're learning to understand the language of female attraction so that you can recognize when someone is trying to tell you they're interested. All right, so let's dive into the first signal, and I guarantee this is going to change how you see every interaction with women from now on. The first signal is what I call the orbit creation. This is when a woman consistently finds ways to be in your physical and social orbit, even when there's no practical reason for her to be there. Now, this isn't about her being clingy or following you around like a stalker. It's much more subtle than that. It's about how she somehow always ends up in the same places you are, how conversations naturally happen between you two, and how she creates what I call coincidental encounters. Let me give you some examples of what this looks like in real life. Maybe you go to the gym at the same time every day, and suddenly she's started working out at that exact time too, even though she used to go in the mornings. Maybe you have a favorite lunch spot, and now she's started eating there regularly. Maybe you mention that you're going to a certain event, and surprise, surprise, she decides she wants to go to that event too. But here's the key distinction. She's not just showing up to these places randomly. She's positioning herself in a way that creates natural opportunities for interaction. She's not just at the gym at the same time as you. She's using the equipment near you. She's not just at the same lunch spot. She's sitting where you can see each other and potentially start a conversation. I remember talking to a woman named Jessica about this, and she explained it perfectly. She said, When I like someone, I become hyper-aware of their schedule and their habits, not in a creepy way, but because I want to maximize my chances of seeing them and talking to them. If I know he gets coffee at that cafe every morning, I might suddenly develop a craving for their pastries. If I know he goes to that bookstore on weekends, I might remember that I need to browse their fiction section. This behavior is driven by something psychologists call proximity seeking. When we're attracted to someone, we have an unconscious drive to be near them. For women, this often manifests as strategic positioning rather than direct approach. But here's what makes this signal even more telling. She'll often have seemingly logical reasons for being in these places. She won't say, "I'm here because I want to see you." She'll say, "Oh, I've been meaning to try this coffee shop," or "I heard they have great yoga classes here." She's giving herself plausible deniability while still creating opportunities for connection. The second layer of orbit creation is social orbiting. This is when she starts appearing in your social circles or showing interest in your social activities. Maybe she friends your friends on social media. Maybe she starts coming to events that your friend group attends. Maybe she expresses interest in hobbies or activities that you're involved in. Again, she'll have logical reasons for all of this. She's not going to say, "I want to be around your friends so I can be around you." She's going to say, "Your friend Mike seems really cool," or "I've always wanted to try rock climbing," even though she's never expressed interest in rock climbing before in her life. I worked with a guy named David who told me about his coworker Rachel. He said they barely interacted at work, but somehow Rachel had started showing up to every single happy hour, office party, and work event. She had become friends with his work friends, joined the company softball team that he was on, and even started taking the same fitness classes that were offered through their company wellness program. David thought she was just really social and wanted to be involved in everything. But when I asked him to really think about the timeline, he realized that all of this started happening after they had one really good conversation at a work conference. Before that conversation, Rachel had never shown interest in any of these social activities. That's orbit creation in action. She was creating multiple touchpoints and opportunities for them to interact outside of their normal work environment. The third layer of this signal is what I call digital orbiting. In today's world, this is huge. She'll start engaging with your social media more frequently. She'll like your posts quickly after you post them. She'll watch your Instagram stories consistently. She might start following accounts that you follow or showing interest in things you post about. But here's the sophisticated part. She's not just randomly liking everything you post. She's engaging in ways that open up conversation opportunities. She'll like your photo and then comment with a question. She'll respond to your story with something that starts a dialogue. She's using digital platforms to create more opportunities for interaction. Now, let me be clear about something important. Not every woman who shows up in similar places as you is giving you this signal. The key is consistency and intentionality. If it happens once or twice, it could be coincidence. But if you start noticing a pattern where she's consistently finding ways to be in your orbit, and especially if it started happening after you two had some kind of positive interaction, then you're looking at signal number one. The second signal is what I call priority shifting, and this one is probably the most telling of all three signals. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, you'll notice that you somehow become a priority in her life, even when there's no obvious reason why you should be. She'll make time for you, remember things about you, and go out of her way to help you, or spend time with you in ways that she doesn't do for other people. This signal shows up in several distinct ways. The first is time allocation. She'll consistently make time to talk to you, even when she's busy. If you text her, she responds relatively quickly and with substantial responses, not just one-word answers. If you call her, she picks up or calls you back promptly. When you're talking in person, she gives you her full attention instead of being distracted by her phone or other things going on around her. But here's the key. She's doing this consistently, and she's making it seem effortless. She's not saying, "I'm so busy, but I guess I can spare 5 minutes for you." She's rearranging her schedule to accommodate interactions with you, and she's making it seem like it's the most natural thing in the world. I spoke with a woman named Amanda about this, and she said something that really stuck with me. She said, "When I'm interested in someone, they become a bright spot in my day. I look forward to our conversations, so I prioritize them. If he texts me while I'm in a meeting, I might not respond right away, but I'm thinking about my response and I make sure to get back to him properly when I can. If someone else texts me during that same meeting, I might forget about it for hours." The second way priority shifting shows up is through what I call investment behaviors. She'll remember details about your life that most people wouldn't remember. She'll ask follow-up questions about things you mentioned in previous conversations. She'll remember that you have a big presentation coming up and check in to see how it went. She'll remember that you mentioned your favorite band and tell you when they announce a concert in your city. This isn't just good listening skills. This is active investment in your life and your experiences. She's paying attention to you in a way that goes beyond normal social interaction. The third way you'll see priority shifting is through what I call helpful positioning. She'll offer to help you with things, and not just easy, convenient things. She'll offer real, substantial help that requires effort on her part. Maybe you mention that you're moving, and she offers to help you pack or clean your old place. Maybe you're working on a project, and she offers to proofread it or help you research something. Maybe you're planning a trip, and she spends time helping you find good restaurants or activities in the city you're visiting. Again, she's doing this because being helpful to you makes her feel good. She wants to be valuable to you. She wants to contribute to your life in positive ways. But here's the sophisticated part of priority shifting. She'll often disguise her efforts as being casual or no big deal. She won't say, "I'm going out of my way to help you because I'm interested in you." She'll say, "Oh, it's no problem. I was in the area anyway." Or, "I actually enjoy helping with this kind of thing." She's giving herself plausible deniability while still demonstrating that you're a priority to her. I remember working with a client named Marcus who was completely oblivious to this signal from his study partner in law school. This woman, Jennifer, was consistently staying after their study group sessions to help him with concepts he was struggling with. She was sharing her notes with him, helping him prepare for exams, and even bringing him coffee during late-night study sessions. Marcus thought she was just being a good study partner and friend. But when we really analyzed the situation, it became clear that Jennifer wasn't doing any of these things for the other people in their study group. She wasn't staying late to help anyone else. She wasn't sharing her notes with anyone else. She wasn't bringing coffee for anyone else. Marcus was receiving specialized treatment, and he didn't even realize it. The fourth way priority shifting manifests is through emotional availability. When a woman is interested in you, she'll be emotionally present and engaged in your conversations. She'll share personal things about herself, ask about your thoughts and feelings, and create deeper levels of connection. She'll remember emotional details about your life. If you tell her you're stressed about something, she'll check in on you later. If you share something you're excited about, she'll share in that excitement. If you're going through a difficult time, she'll offer support and encouragement. This emotional investment is huge because it shows that she's not just interested in surface-level interaction with you. She's interested in knowing you as a person and being a meaningful part of your life. Now, the third and final signal is what I call exclusive energy. And this is where things get really interesting, because it's the most subtle, but also the most powerful of the three signals. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, she'll give you a different quality of attention and energy than she gives to other people. It's not necessarily that she's flirting with you overtly. It might be much more subtle than that. But if you know what to look for, you'll notice that her entire demeanor changes when she's interacting with you. The first way this shows up is through what I call focused attention. When she's talking to you, you have her complete focus. She's not looking around the room, checking her phone, or seeming distracted. Even in group settings, when she's talking to you, it feels like you're the only person in the room. But here's the key. This focused attention often comes with a different quality of eye contact. She'll hold eye contact with you longer than she does with other people. When she laughs at something you say, she'll look directly at you while she's laughing. When you're telling a story, she'll watch your face intently, not just politely. I talked to a woman named Sarah about this phenomenon, and she explained it perfectly. She said, "When I'm attracted to someone, they become magnetic to me. I want to catch every expression, every gesture, every word. I find myself studying their face when they talk because I'm genuinely fascinated by them as a person." The second aspect of exclusive energy is what I call energy matching. She'll unconsciously mirror your energy level and emotional state. If you're excited about something, she becomes excited too. If you're being playful, she matches that playfulness. If you're having a more serious conversation, she matches that serious tone. This isn't conscious mimicry. It's a natural response that happens when we're attracted to someone. We unconsciously synchronize with people we're drawn to. But here's what makes this really telling. She'll often bring more energy and enthusiasm to interactions with you than she brings to interactions with other people. You might notice that she seems more animated, more talkative, or more expressive when she's talking to you compared to when she's talking to others. The third way exclusive energy shows up is through what I call personal disclosure. She'll share things with you that she doesn't share with everyone. These might be personal stories, opinions, dreams, or concerns. She's allowing you to see sides of her personality that she keeps private from most people. This is significant because it shows that she trusts you and wants to create a deeper connection. She's not just making small talk with you, she's letting you into her inner world. The fourth aspect is positive interpretation. When a woman is interested in you, she'll consistently interpret your actions and words in a positive light. If you say something that could be taken multiple ways, she'll choose the most favorable interpretation. If you make a mistake or do something awkward, she'll brush it off or even find it endearing. This is huge because it shows that she's emotionally invested in seeing you in a positive light. She wants to like you, so she's giving you the benefit of the doubt in situations where she might be more critical of other people. I worked with a guy named Jason who was getting exclusive energy signals from a woman in his hiking group, but he couldn't see it. This woman, Kelly, would always end up hiking next to him during group hikes. She would ask him about his other hobbies, his work, his family. She remembered details from previous conversations and would bring them up weeks later. But the thing that really showed her exclusive energy was how she responded to him compared to how she responded to other people in the group. When other people made jokes, she would smile politely. When Jason made jokes, she would laugh genuinely and make eye contact with him while she was laughing. When other people told stories, she would listen politely. When Jason told stories, she would ask follow-up questions and seem genuinely engaged. Jason thought she was just a really friendly person, but when we had him observe her interactions with others more carefully, he realized that she was giving him a completely different quality of attention and energy. The fifth aspect of exclusive energy is initiative taking. A woman who's interested in you will often take initiative in your interactions, but she'll do it in subtle ways. She might be the one who texts first sometimes. She might be the one who suggests getting together or doing activities. She might be the one who brings up topics of conversation or asks questions that keep your interactions going. She's not waiting passively for you to make all the moves. She's actively participating in building the connection between you two. Now, here's something crucial that ties all three of these signals together. They work in combination. A woman who's genuinely interested in you will typically display all three signals, not just one or two. She'll create opportunities to be in your orbit. She'll make you a priority in her life, and she'll give you exclusive energy and attention. When you see all three signals together, you can be confident that she's interested. When you see one or two signals, she might be interested, but she also might just be a naturally friendly or social person. But here's the part that most men struggle with. What do you do when you recognize these signals? The answer is simpler than you think. You reciprocate. If she's creating opportunities to be in your orbit, you acknowledge those opportunities and engage with them. If she's making you a priority, you make her a priority too. If she's giving you exclusive energy, you give her exclusive energy back. And then, when you've established this mutual pattern of interest and investment, you take the next step. You ask her out. You make your intentions clear. You move the relationship forward. The beauty of understanding these signals is that by the time you act on them, you already know she's interested. You're not taking a shot in the dark. You're responding to clear communication that she's been giving you. Remember, these signals exist because women want to communicate their interest. They're not trying to make things difficult or confusing. They're using the communication style that feels natural and safe to them. When you learn to recognize and respond to this communication style, everything becomes easier. You'll stop missing opportunities. You'll stop wondering if women are interested in you. You'll start having more confidence in your interactions because you'll know how to read the situation accurately. And here's the beautiful thing. When you start recognizing and responding to these signals appropriately, women will notice. They'll see that you understand their communication style, and they'll be more likely to communicate clearly with you in the future. So pay attention to the women in your life. Look for orbit creation, priority shifting, and exclusive energy. When you see these three signals together, you'll know exactly what to do. Remember, attraction is a two-way street. She's giving you these signals because she wants you to notice them and respond to them. Don't leave her hanging. Don't make her wonder if you're interested too. When you recognize these signals, step up and make your move. Your future self will thank you for it.